Hello and welcome to CB Talks, the podcast where we explore the future of talent, technology, and transformation. Today I have the pleasure of speaking with someone whose career path is as vast as it is inspiring, João Miguel Nobre. Hello João, how are you today?
Good. Thank you for having me.
It's a real pleasure. So where are you based today?
Today I'm in Lisbon in Portugal.
At your company office, correct?
I'm at the office, yes, correct.
How's the weather in Lisbon?
It's nice. It's 28 degrees. Cloudy. It's nice. It's nice September.
Nice September. So ending the summer. Okay. Let's have a short intro about João. João is currently key account manager at 𝗏𝗏𝗕, powered by 𝗵𝗂𝗶𝗏𝗏, where he's helping businesses leverage geomarketing and location analytics to drive smarter decisions. His career spans over 30 years across technology, telecom, software, and consulting, having held senior roles at top companies like Cisco, 𝗏𝗄𝗄, 𝗏𝗏𝗕, and more. He holds a master's degree in electronics and telecommunications engineering from Instituto Superior Técnico and is known for blending strategic vision with technical depth, always with a focus on real value for clients. That's the key word with João, real value for clients. So let's start this. We have prepared a couple of questions and we're going to have fun having your vision on this. So João, from field engineer in the early 90s, to global key accounts and strategic roles, what has been the connection between all these professional experiences? Because they are all in tech, but with within different markets. What has been the connection between all of them?
Yeah, well, first let me thank you. Your very nice introduction. I wasn't looking, even if it were another in the room, but it was only me. Okay, that's a great question. And looking back, in fact, to the common thread through all those roles, whether when I was a field engineer, then as a solution architect on pre-sales, managing a large project for telecom companies, and currently where I currently work is advising clients on location analytics at 𝗏𝗏𝗕. So the main focus was always problem solving, having also a business mindset. Okay, so we need to solve a problem. We need to have a business mindset, whether you are a field engineer or a solution architect or are in a more consultant role. So early in my career as a field engineer, in fact, what I learned on those first years is how technology really works in the real world, not just in the theory. Okay, so I was in fact implementing projects with customers. Okay, and communications projects, and I could see on the field how, in fact, the solutions that we were implementing were impacting people and operations of the companies. Okay, so the idea there, we need to be very detailed oriented. You need to quickly adapt in order to be successful on the deployment of the solution. But also there, the most important thing, in fact, was listen before proposing the solution. Before implementing the solution, listens. Okay, and in fact, those skills are essential today on my client strategy and account management. Okay, when I moved to more solutions architect pre-sales, in fact, the idea there was to understand systems of value. Okay, so what drives the business, where it's vulnerable, and how technology or data can unlock opportunities. So the core skill there, in fact, stay the same, and combining technical depth with strategic thinking, and very, very important, always stay curious. Okay.
Yeah, more than that. So you maybe start thinking about a lot of things, because you mentioned problem solving, and this, of course, comes also from your engineering background. After 13 years doing cross-border talents, we see sales engineers always being very demanded by our clients across the globe. So having engineers allocated to doing strategic selling, it's a major plus for a company, and it is a very hard to find profile. So a question that I have is, looking back, what skills help you navigate all of these different roles? I think that part of the communication, the capacity to listen to a client before jumping into a conclusion, it's a very unique skill set that a sales engineer needs to have. Do you agree?
Yes. Yeah, I agree totally. And I would say that one of the most valuable skills, in fact, throughout my career, what I've been learning, has been, let me put it this way, translating complexity. Okay, so making technical topics accessible and actionable for decision makers, whether when I was talking to a CTO or any other role in the company, but being able to connect the dots between tech data and the real outcomes. That's what creates trust, and that's what drives results for our customers. Okay. So it's always been about bridging the gap between technology and business impact, and doing it in a way that keeps people and context at the center. And there is, if you achieve this fine point of balance, you become a trusted advisor.
Absolutely. So listening, get to know the pain, really try to explain things in the way that the client can relate to, helping them to bring that information to their management team. That's a very, very, these are critical skill sets, very demanded in the market. So thank you for that. Moving for the second topic. How did your time at companies like Cisco, Quigest, and in Atlas shape your perspective on how technology and people can work together to build future-ready solutions? So technology and people, how do you see this?
Yeah, it's so you mentioned, yes, there are three of the companies that I had the privilege to work, and I'm now working at in Atlas. But in fact, I started my career after the university in a company that no longer exists, but evolved to with another brand. But it was at the time, it was a system integrator, 𝗵𝗁, local Portuguese system integrator. And so I spent it was there on that company that I in fact had my experience as field engineer. On the first, I've been there for 7 years, in fact. So the first 3 years I was a 100% field engineer, and then I moved to solution architect to pre-sales. And it was on that phase that I started my path, my experience, my career on commercial, on sales. Okay. And in fact, I have exploited very much that experience when I joined Cisco, where I stand for almost 2 decades. So at Cisco, I was immersed in cutting-edge infrastructure and global innovation, of course. And so it was a company, a place, and people that taught me the importance of scalability and security. That we don't not just building solutions that work, but solutions that endure, and more than that, it was about collaboration. Okay, so the company was one of the first places where I saw how ecosystem matters. Okay, so that the real value of technology often comes from how it integrates across teams, departments, and even countries. Then coming back to the experience at Quigest, so shift a bit, okay, and in fact I had the opportunity to get even closer to end users, okay, so business using digital tools to transform workflows on the companies. So I can see how user experience, adoption, and simplicity are just as critical as technical capability. Okay, so you can have the most advanced platform in the world, but if it's not aligned with how people work, or if it's too complex, it won't deliver value. So, and you will not be successful. Okay, and in fact, that's why I'm working now here at 𝗏𝗏𝗕 in this so the current role that I have as responsible for the solutions of 𝗏𝗏𝗕 in Portugal, embedded on the 𝗵𝗂𝗶𝗱𝗏 company, and now at 𝗏𝗏𝗕, okay, so that perspective is becoming even more strategic. Okay, so we are using data, so location intelligence, business demographics, mobility partners, and in order to help our clients to make smarter and faster decisions. Okay? And what's fascinating there is that while the tools are sophisticated, the conversations we are having are very human. Where should we open our next store? How do we compete in a crowded market? Where is our audience moving to? So this is the questions that the clients are asking. So this is very human. So across all this experience that I was describing, so what I've learned definitely is that technology is only future ready when it's people ready. When it's built with empathy, aligned with goals, and designed to adapt as the world changes, in fact. Okay? So that's the sweet spot, where innovation becomes, in fact, transformation.
And we know that humans hate change. So in every companies that I've worked for, and I had to train people in new softwares, in new ERPs, humans are a bit afraid because they are used to their Excel files and to do things as they will. So there's a huge barrier to get into those organizations, because the solution is perfect, but in the end you need to integrate it with humans, and that's the sweet spot. Once you can do it, and then you have it a cool rollout. I've been following your career over the last decades. I know that you were a superstar at Cisco. Yeah, you did a
little bit less, Ricardo. I'm going to blush.
No, because you won a very cool prize at Cisco. You were one of the best worldwide. They sent you to Hawaii to reward you. What was the name of that prize?
It was the Chairman's Club. I won the Chairman's Club. I had the opportunity to be 1 year in Hawaii with my wife, in fact, and immersed with all the top executives of Cisco, John Chambers.
And because you did a great job with one of your clients in Portugal, so you roll out all the implementation.
It was. So it was the prize that I don't know how it is now, but so they choose 1% of their sales force to give this prize. Okay. So it was a very nice one, but that doesn't make me a superstar. Just very happy.
I'm just looking from outside, looking into your LinkedIn profile, and then I see those awards, and then I would like to highlight it. So today at 𝗏𝗏𝗕. So 𝗏𝗏𝗕 is powered by Dun & Bradstreet, correct?
Well, in fact, 𝗏𝗏𝗕 is a company. So it's the headquarters in Barcelona and presence in Lisbon. And it's part of the 𝗵𝗂𝗶 group. 𝗵𝗂𝗶 in Portugal is named 𝗵𝗂𝗶 because it came from the DB. In fact, was the previous company where the people in Portugal work. It was Dun & Bradstreet. Okay, so Dun & Bradstreet, so the American company, several years ago made an agreement with 𝗵𝗂𝗶 in Spain, and they get out of the Iberia, and so they have a partnership in terms of sharing their information databases. And 𝗏𝗏𝗕 is a company that is now 14 to 15 years old in the market. You can relate that it's a it's a startup, so the in Atlas focus on developing an information geographic system that is able or focusing in order to segment databases. Okay, and one of the very valuable database is the databases of Informa. That in Informa you have all the information of the enterprises in country. So from financing to number of employees or everything. They also roll out a risk score. So they are very important, very strategic for all the market.
How does this work in practice for the industries that you just mentioned, like finance, telecom, customer experience, which is one of our main markets?
Okay, good. Yeah, I can tell you absolutely. So at InAtlas, so what the solution, our platform. So what we do, so we specialize in helping B2B companies to turn location data into strategic decisions. Okay, so while many people associate geomarketing, which is in fact the name of the platform, with B2C, the value in B2B is just as powerful. Okay, this is geomarketing. Okay, and sometimes even more. Okay, so take finance, as you were asking, for example. Okay, so in B2B banking or insurance, in fact, our clients they need to understand where business customers are concentrated by size, sector, risk profile, growth potential. So we provide the geospatial intelligence that shows which regions are saturated with small and medium enterprises, which industrial zones are emerging, and where new business opportunities are geographically clustering. So that allows them to focus commercial teams more precisely and even just credit or product strategies to fit local economic conditions. So this is one example, but I can give you, for example, telecom companies. So, and focusing on the B2B side, not on the B2C, but on the B2B side. So telecom selling their solutions to the enterprise market or public sector. So operators, what they are using, they are using our tools to map business density versus their infrastructure readiness. Okay, so imagine you're rolling out fiber to business park. You want to know not only where there are companies, but which ones are growing, what sectors they are in, how competitive the market is in that zone. So it's all about optimizing capex, reducing churn, and of course increasing local B2B penetrations. That's what they are interested in.
So you are providing your clients data that enables strategic decisions. In the end, that's what you provide.
Correct. I can give you even another example, another sector, retail. Okay. Again, B2B players, so like wholesalers or logistics providers here. Okay, so they use our platform to plan distribution centers, franchise networks, or B2B sales zones. Okay, so we help them understand which areas have high demand but low service coverage, where there's duplication in their sales force, or where strategic partnerships could accelerate their growth. So the key is this, in fact. So in B2B, relationships are local, but strategy must be data-driven. Okay, so location intelligence gives our clients the ability to see where their markets, where their market is physically located, okay, and how it's changing, and how they can prioritize their efforts and have a maximum return on investment. That's it.
Absolutely. I'm a big fan of data. It's the only way to manage a company. So we have some data scientists in our company, and everything that we do is based on the data that these guys collect, digest, and then we analyze and take decisions. So what you provide to companies, it's extremely valuable. Of course, companies, they create their own data and analyze it, but then you need to go to the market experts, and you guys are doing this. Coming to the next question, and we are a bit, we'll wrap up in 10 minutes. So there's some topics that I would like to still discuss with you. You've worked in high trust environments with sensitive data and complex clients. So what we have been discussing so far. So today, how do you see the balance of AI with the need for relationship building and empathy? So how do you see AI entering into your landscape? How are your clients dealing with this?
So that's a topic that, in fact, here at Tenatus we care deeply about, in fact, and specifically when you're working in B2B. So where the trust is not just important, so it's everything. Trust is everything here, okay? And so yes, we live in a world that is being shaped by AI. Okay, and automation. Okay, and in fact, these are the tools that are bringing real advantage. So speed, scale, pattern recognition. At Tenatus, for example, we use AI to process huge volumes of location and business data. So our clients can make smarter decisions faster, and that is simply powerful. Okay, but there's one thing. So automation handles information, and people handle interpretation. Okay, I think this is the key. Okay, especially in high stakes or high trust environments. Okay, like finance, telecom, strategic consulting. What matters most is how well you understand the client's context, their challenge, their aspirations. Okay, and that still requires empathy, nuance. So that requires human judgment. In fact, so I have worked with clients managing sensitive data with regulatory pressures, complex go-to-market decisions. So they are not just buying a tool. So they are relying on a partner. And that partnership is built through listening, asking the right questions, showing that you understand the big picture, not just the data. Okay, so I believe the real power lies in combining these two things. So using AI and automation to elevate the conversation, of course, but not replace it. So let the tech handle the heavy lifting, the pattern detection, the forecasting, but let the human side, relationship building, storytelling, strategy guides the direction. Okay. So in a nutshell, to me, that's the future of B2B. So augmented relationships, not automated ones.
So in the book Factfulness, Hans Rosling argues that while the world is improving in many areas like health, education, and income, our perception often remains negative due to mental instincts like fear, generalization, and urgencies. Now, I'm not now creating the segue for how do we humans see the world. So how do you see the role of data literacy and the fact-based mindset in helping organizations make better strategic choices? Because in the end, for instance, in our example at Cross-Border Talents, we have the data scientists collecting data, presenting data in Power BI. That's what we use. But then we need to have the data analysts, the guys that read that data and have the experience to interpret that data and apply. And then the human brain get into action, and we need to be aware of who is managing that data, what kind of fears they have, what kind of how do they see reality? So how do you see this?
That's a very, very good question. So in my experience with data-driven decision, so I've seen that organizations often don't suffer from a lack of data, okay, but rather from a lack of data literacy. So the ability to interpret data correctly, question assumptions, and challenge emotional or instinctive reactions with facts. Okay, so so we are all emerged on this urgency bias, fear of loss, or generalization, right? And that often shows up in strategic decisions, in fact. So expanding too fast because a competitor did, avoiding a market due to one bad quarter, focusing only on short-term KPIs. But then when you bring in clear contextualized data, not just dashboards, but well-interpreted insights, you can replace that noise with clarity. So again, coming to what we're doing at Tenatus, okay? So we work with companies, we are making decisions about where to invest, whom to target, where do I grow, okay? So these are big bets, okay? And when they base them on intuition alone, they risk overreacting to this kind of anecdotes that I was mentioning before. or they risk to miss hidden opportunities. Okay? But when they adopt a fact-based mindset, when they ask, what do the numbers really say? What patterns are we not seeing here? Okay, they make smarter and more sustainable choice. So yes, I believe data literacy is now a core leadership skill. It doesn't mean everyone has to be a data scientist, but leaders like you, Ricardo, must learn to ask better questions, be comfortable with nuance, and trust data not as the enemy of intuition, but as its most valuable partner. Okay, so when that happens, decisions become less reactive and more resilient. And in today's world, very volatile, that is not a luxury, that is a necessity.
Absolutely. And those better questions based on the data that our data scientists, you guys provide, that's a major part of the data literacy that you're talking about. But then we have thousands, millions of data entering your cell phone at a pace that we never had before. And data literacy is also coming. The brain of the people that will take the decisions is also, of course, influenced by that data. So I was just connecting here a cartoon that I just saw where you have these 4 knight riders, and one is the war, has written war here, the other one is famine, the other one is pestilence, and there's a new knight, a dark rider, joining them, and all of them are looking to them and saying, who are you? And the guy has written here, misinformation, and is looking to a cell phone. And this is the data literacy that you cannot control. The data scientists, the analysts, you are dealing with controlled data, but then you have uncontrolled data that you see, and then our sons, our kids, sometimes that will come up with a completely crazy idea, and then we say, how do you know this? And it's coming from a specific influencer, a specific blogger, some extreme parties that broadcast some shitty information. So data literacy is also very important to address this. I don't know, do you want to add something here?
First, the cartoon is very, 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 very accurate, in fact. So, and I never thought about that, but in fact, we have now a 5th night of apocalypse. Not only the disease, the fame, and the war, and the other one, which pestilence. Okay, definitely we have this 5th guy. Amazing. Okay, so that's crucial, and it's complex, in fact. So what you're seeing, in fact, currently is a realignment of global influence and on energy, technology, and in fact, data are the new strategic lever. Okay, so companies cannot longer think in silos. So they must understand that geopolitics is now part of business strategy, in fact. Okay, so and in fact, even very, very recently, we had the Shanghai Summit. Okay, it's just an example of that. So how emerging alliances are reshaping it. So on accessing to resources like energy and AI infrastructure. So you have China and Russia and India. Okay, leading there. Okay, so they are going through a deepened cooperation. So it doesn't just justify political power, it affects supply chains, pricing models, tech standards, market access, and for European companies. And so here in Portugal, so in fact, this creates both pressure and opportunity. So on one hand, there's increased competition from state-baked or highly coordinated ecosystems, okay, that Portuguese companies are not able to compete. On the other hand, there is a chance to differentiate for the Portuguese companies. So, and differentiate through innovation, transparency, and value-added service. Okay, not just cost. I think that the European countries, specifically Portugal, must focus in this through this guideline. So innovation, push transparency, push value-added service. Okay?
That's a lot, as we see today. Exactly what you mentioned is what we just saw in Shanghai, seeing how China, Russia, India are aligning, how Europe is adjusting to that, and US. So it's a brand new world, and we are very lucky to live in this new AI times. So let's end on a future forward note. How do you see location intelligence, AI, and cross-border collaboration evolving over the next years? Let's stay positive.
No, yeah, of course, but no, we are positive. Even coming back to the previous question that we were discussing. In fact, let's not forget that Europe has strength. So we have the strength of trust, of regulation. We have the strength of digital ethics. Okay, all of this. It seems that it does not make much sense in the coming days, and we are looking of what are happening to the democracies around the world, and the fifth apocalypse night, in fact, is crashing it. But here in Europe, in Portugal, so we can eventually turn these into trust and strategic advantages. Okay, so if you combine trust, regulation, digital ethics with smart use of data, better energy planning, stronger public-private collaboration, we can carve out a resilient position in the global economy. So we are now positive, right?
João, let's wrap up. Thank you so much for this incredible conversation. Your career is a blueprint for how deep tech and human intelligence can align to create long-lasting business impact. So, João, thank you again. For anyone in recruitment, sales, or digital transformation, this episode is packed with value. So, thank you, João. Stay tuned as we continue our journey into the evolving landscape of global talent, tech innovation, and the human stories behind it all. Thank you for the positive episode, João. Have a nice one.